This story will cover from then to now and next, all about change, how to turn losers into winners. Through the story of life on Earth, from insects to mammals, many predators have evolved in Africa. Down there, for example. Which is the deadliest? Is it the tiny mosquito insect that can spread disease right around the tropics, like malaria and the recent Zika virus? Next up, with backboned animals, sharks. Fish suffering from a bad image, but definitely effective at what they have to do: attack. And worldwide, does that often include people? From the fishes came the amphibians and reptiles, like snakes. And they evolved various deadly techniques, venom and a sensitive tongue. Some can be fast and furious, injecting a human to fatal effect. Others, like this puff adder, lie low, hidden, camouflaged, and with a deadly strike. Handle with care and respect. If man gets it wrong, as is true with many African snakes, from the forest floor to the trees above, he may be killed by venom or constriction. Pythons are versatile, can climb, swim and squeeze and swallow. But so far, so good. Sharks have jaws, so do crocodiles, serious teeth included.
Fighting him with my arms, but he attacked both my arms. And so that's how it happened. And then along 2 years of operations and everything else, and then I managed to get the use of one arm back, and this arm's, the use is becoming better and better.
From the reptiles, the birds evolved, and birds of prey flourish in Africa. From the tiny pygmy falcon, which eats insects, to the king of the forest, which hunts much bigger prey, monkeys. It's the crowned eagle. Well equipped, strong wings, powerful beak, and lots of attitude, of a predatory kind. And talents too for a fish eagle, so monkeys or flamingos are victims of assassins, as we call them, in human terms. These fierce predators must kill to live, and some of the biggest and most powerful live in Africa. The lions, some called man-eaters, and top mammals in the story of life on Earth. And they must surely be a contender for the title of Africa's deadliest animal. That look. But there's another candidate for that dubious title that needs looking out for. Because he might be looking out for you. He may be hiding in a bush to ambush a human. The African buffalo and the hippo have often been named the most dangerous. Certainly these two heavyweights can pack a punch, and there have been many human casualties to prove it. So we'll check out these two big ones. Good picture. Wouldn't be quite so good if it was a living hippopotamus. Massive jaws, massive canine teeth. But they live on grass, not fish. They are one of the most dangerous animals in Africa, especially if you get between a mother and a young one, or between the land and the safety of the water, which is where this 3-ton giant becomes an almost underwater ballet dancer. So how dangerous is a hippo? Can people and hippos coexist? Especially people who live by their home, which is both on land and in the water, both night and day. With his ears, eyes and nostrils all situated along the top, a hippo can get this view of a fisherman who's apparently unconcerned. Or pelicans, but getting a surprise. Hippos and people meet in the day when they keep cool and socialise. They can be aggressive or docile, and this group is used to tourists, as long as they keep their distance. But you never can quite predict a hippo's response, particularly underwater. Just imagine that coming up under your boat. And now for a bit of dung spreading. When God created a hippo, it is said, he ordered him to eat grass. But when the hippo got to Africa and saw how hot it was, he asked God's permission to stay in the water during the day and eat grass at night. God granted the request, but feared the hippo would eat fish instead. So the hippo agreed to spread his dung with his tail to show there were no fish bones in it. So every night the hippo, so buoyant underwater in its tiptoe mode, must drag its huge body ashore to spend most of the night eating vegetation on land. And this is where problems can start. Tourists may be safe enough in a boat, but here on land, hippos can be very nervous. And both the hotel manager and security have to be very careful. It's a squeezed hippo, increasingly restricted to man-made changes to the lake shore. Hippos are very territorial, but so are the flower farms. At Lake Naivasha in Kenya, the flower farms that supply the world with roses and carnations, and vegetables too, not only spray chemicals on their land, which reached the lake of the hippo, but they occupied what was once a happy hippo hunting ground for grass. So potential winners may be becoming losers. They mate underwater. After 8 months, a tiny calf is born, weighing a mere 100 pounds. A few minutes after being born, it can stand, walk and suck. Like its parents, it can also sink, fully inhaled, and like an adult, walk along the bottom of the lake. You never quite know what a hippo is thinking. Hope it's not like a red rag to a bull. At least it's amongst themselves. The valuable water comes ashore, as will the hippo later. More water, life-giving rain. Ideal conditions for the hippo, staying over into a wet, thundery day, which will help that grass grow. He won't get sunburned, though he may get a few scratches to his sensitive skin from the thorns all around. A Hadada ibis outside your room at Elsamere by the lake is one thing, a 3-ton hippo is another. This seat is vacant at the moment, and there's a security man keeping watch. Hippos are a mixed blessing here. They're the symbol of the place, and visitors expect to see them, but the management is also pleased to see the back of them sometimes. On the other hand, they mow the lawn and manure it in their own distinctive dung-spreading style, with that energetic, tail-wagging action. A lot of grass goes in, and so a lot has to come out. It takes many hours of grazing to support this massive beast, which mostly lies in the lake all day or walks on land at night. However, a hippo can run very fast if necessary, particularly when it feels cut off from its daytime resting place. That's when accidents happen. They keep their distance. Not sure if bicycles are a solution if danger threatens. They've seen it all before, but they also know people have been killed on this lake by a rampaging hippo. These 2 young ones are just playing. But injuries do happen. And there seems to be a comforting going on here. They're really sociable and appear to have their own language. Whether it's asleep underwater or at the surface, hippos use a wide range of sounds involving their jaws and ears. Oh, very funny. a lily trotter, a pelican, a plover. The hippo has many avian neighbours at Lake Naivasha, including thousands of cormorants, those expert fishermen. And often many pelicans, which come here when the level is right and the fishing is good. Oxpeckers are after ticks, so-called tick birds, usually on land animals. The cormorant is drying his wings in the tropical Kenyan sun, but that doesn't suit hippos, whose skin can get sunburnt. So they roll in mud and keep moving, with a useful factor X for protection. So, is the hippo a friend or a foe to people? Are they winning or losing? Can we learn to live with them and allow them space and water, like the water song says? There's another kind of wedding going on out there. Let's hope the results will have a promising future for the baby, a winner rather than a loser amongst the flower farms of Lake Naivasha. Everyone who meets hippos meets a risk. They are fast and sometimes furious, one of the most dangerous animals in Africa, along with elephants, rhinos and buffaloes, all heavyweights. But this young hippo has struck up an unlikely but endearing friendship with a giant tortoise at Bamburi on the Kenya coast. Cameraman Norbert Rocher is in direct line of sight and at risk of a quick attack. The tortoise, famously, will be slow off the mark, not that he's aggressive, except to leaves. That could be the end of a valuable piece of kit, or even Norbert. That look. But is it more frightening than a lion? It's okay this time, but now for the main subject number 2. Lurking with intent, with a powerful mantelpiece. They can ram a man, as many buffalo have, causing death and destruction. They're a force to be reckoned with. The big males can get very angry. Think African bullfight. What counts is the horns, backed by aggression, speed and determination to sort you out. Between waterbuck, the armour is different, but the aggro evident. When lowered, the pointed weapons are in just the right place to hurt. Another waterbuck, that is. At least the buffalo are chasing the waterbuck, who are harmless to humans. In fact, even the famously dangerous buffalo have a soft side, or rather a muddy one. Even that other giant, the elephant, joins in. And they've killed people too, squashing tourist vehicles and crushing the occupants. even these giants have their problems. A mud bath helps them keep cool and protect against parasites. A tiny aggressive creature trying to live on its massive walking prey. Oxpeckers only kill ticks, so-called tick birds. So this is the gentle, muddy side of the allegedly ferocious buffalo. Yes, they may look harmless, but they've got a very mean streak, joined by a warthog family with tusks that can cause serious damage. Much of this is about social dominance, sex and violence at the waterhole, or a bit of play fighting. With young ones, it's inquisitiveness. What exactly is a marabou stork? Well, a sunbather. So it's all over for the day for these notorious deadly animals. But are they the very deadliest? Well, no. No wonder a buffalo hides in wait for a hunter that's injured one with an arrow, a bullet or a snare. It's a simple, cheap weapon.
So this one here, if a blue duiker or a red duiker came, just pass through, then he goes like this and what?
Yeah.
That is how they make it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The mostly docile waterbuck has little defence using its pointed horns. We seem to be homing in on Africa's deadliest animal. And it's not a waterbuck, a lion, or even the ones you might expect that have been killed and have been snared by many humans over the years. A chimp is attracted to the sound of a duiker, a small antelope, and chimps will eat meat, so they too are deadly. So is he, and millions like him. Bushmeat and a need to eat. The duiker that responded to the call of its own species. Many humans are deadly too, whether in Syria with gas and bombs, or potentially worldwide with nuclear submarines and rockets. But some individuals are the very opposite, like Karl Aman, who's trying to stop the killing here in Africa. This time it's too late. With DNA very like ours, this gorilla was murdered, along with several females, killable once he'd been shot. Chimps too end up in the logging camp.
The
meat ends up in their hungry stomachs. And the logs end up in Europe for nice furniture. So if you buy that, are you in effect a human killer by connection? If so, many humans around the world are guilty. What's the final verdict in this trial? Buying flowers and vegetables from Kenya squeezes out hippos from their natural home. It's glass, not grass. And buffaloes are restricted to small patches of cover from which they can burst out and kill people. That's the real cost of a rose or a bean in a British supermarket. Chemicals are necessary to improve the crop. And with the threat of mosquito-borne malaria across Africa, there's pollution involved in the killing by us of millions of insects that threaten our health and survival. Worldwide too, we've killed thousands of sharks for shark fin soup. A ludicrous waste of life of these ancient creatures, which may actually survive us at the rate we're destroying the planet. With saws, guns, poisons and sheer human numbers, the end could be in sight. No home for the king of the forest, the crowned eagle, unless somehow we can rebuild its home. And we call him the king of the beasts. But we don't treat him like one, sometimes. Cecil. This was considered one of the biggest wildlife stories ever. Raised a huge amount of money. And that's the good news. And there'll be even more if man can mend his ways in time. But up to now, he's the deadliest animal in Africa.